Hello students, welcome to CMS online classes. Today we are going to discuss about the question answer of this chapter 4. So as we have completed the chapter 4, I will discuss the exercise question answer. Some I have done, some mathematical questions are there. So I have done. Also you can go through the book because some examples has been given, mathematical questions. Okay. So we'll start with the question number 1. Compare the properties of electrons, protons and neutrons. As we know that these all are the subatomic particles. The electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged and the neutrons are they're neutral. So we will make one table and we will compare all the characteristics. So first one is electron, then we will make three column electrons, protons and neutrons. First that is about charge. Negatively charged, electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged, neutrons they don't have any charge, no charge. Neutral, also you can write neutral. Next mass is negligible, that is 1 by 1800 times of proton. Okay, it is negligible. The mass of electron is very less and mass of proton is 1 AMU. Okay, it is a unit for atomic mass unit. Actually AMU means atomic mass unit and mass of mass of neutron, that is also same, 1 atomic mass unit. Okay, then third get attracted towards the positive charge because they are themselves they are electrons, that means negatively charged, that's why they are attracted towards positively charged. Okay, and protons they get attracted towards negatively charged and neutrons as they are neutral they don't get attracted, they remains neutral all the time. Okay, during chemical reactions also, during the means transition state also they remain same. Next, fourth one, present outside of the nucleus. As we know that electrons revolve around the nucleus in different shell, K, L, M, N. Okay, so they are not inside the nucleus, they are outside the nucleus. But the proton is present in the nucleus, even if the neutron is also present in the nucleus of the atom. That's why also the nucleus is positively charged due to presence of the proton, because neutron it does not contain any charge, so it is a proton. Then question number 2, what are the limitations of J.J. Thomson's model of the atom? According to J.J. Thomson's model of an atom, the electrons are embedded all over in a positively charged sphere. So it is the story about like a Christmas pudding. Okay, it's just like a positive bulb and the negative electrons or the electrons are just like some cherries, plum on the cake. Okay, plum on the this pudding. So according to him, the electrons are embedded all over the positively charged sphere. But experiments done by other scientists showed that protons are present only in the center, not in the whole atom. Okay, and electrons are distributed around it. So this is the limitations of J.J. Thomson's. He also told that there are two types of charges, and one is one is the positive and one is the negative. But according to him, the nucleus according to him, the electrons, the negatively charged electrons are embedded with the positively charged sphere, which was later on it was proved that by other scientists that the protons are only present in the center in the nucleus. Okay. Question number 3, what are the limitations of Rutherford's model of the atom? Rutherford he has taken the some particles, alpha particles, and he strikes on the nucleus. So according to Rutherford's model of an atom, the electrons are revolving in a circular orbit around the nucleus. This was true. Any such particle that revolves would undergo acceleration and radiate energy. The revolving electron would lose its energy and finally fall into the nucleus. The atom would be highly unstable, but we know that atoms are quite stable. So according to him, when the electrons they gain energy, they become activated and they are highly unstable, but we know that atoms are stable. Okay, atoms are unstable only when they gain electrons or they lose electron. At normal atom state they are stable, isn't it? So this one is the one of the very limitation drawback of Rutherford's model. Is it clear? So actually students, here you have to, in this chapter you have to learn about the different models and also their uses and their limitations. Even the Bohr's atomic model is also accepted, but there are also some drawbacks of this Rutherford's model. Sorry, at Bohr's atomic model also. It was accepted. Okay, Bohr's atomic model is accepted universally, but still there is also some limitations of Bohr's atomic model. So this is the question number 3 is about the limitations of Rutherford's model. Okay, so discovery is like that only. One scientist will prove, again one scientist will prove wrong, isn't it? Next question number 4, yes, describe Bohr's model of atoms. Neil Bohr, actually, Bohr's model of the atom we will discuss. First we will write all the postulates. Atom has nucleus in the center. Yes, it has a center and it has a nucleus in the center. Electrons revolve around the nucleus. Electrons revolve around the nucleus with specific orbits, or they are called as shell. Then 3 certain special orbits known as discrete orbits of electrons are allowed inside the atom. So some orbits or special orbits are present. Then 4, while revolving in discrete orbits, the electrons don't radiate energy. When they are revolving in the shell, they don't radiate any energy. Then 5, these orbits or shells are called energy level. These are also called as energy level. So here one more thing I will tell you, students. When the electron or when the atom is gaining charge or energy, they become excited and then move to from the K cell to L cell, from L cell to M cell, M cell to N cell. So they just when they are excited, they move to the next level, energy level. Okay. Next, the last one is these orbits are the shells represented by the letter KLMN, or the number that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see the diagram, students, Bohr's model, the inside one, that is the nucleus. Then after that 4 orbits are present, that is called K cell, capital, all are in capital, KLMN, or simply n is equal to 1. So here n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Inside one is K, then L, then M, then outer one is the L. Like that, inner one is the 1, okay, 2, 3, 4. So according to their atomic number, they are arranged in different shell. So this is about the Bohr's model. Is it clear? Once again I am repeating. Atom has nucleus in the center. Second, electrons revolve around the nucleus. Certain special orbits known as discrete orbits of electrons are allowed inside the atom. While revolving in discrete orbits, the electrons don't radiate energy. And these orbits or shells are called energy levels. And the last one, these orbits or shells are represented by the letter KLMN, or the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is also one rule to fill all the electrons of an atom in different cell, and the answer is 2n square, where n may be 1, 2, 3, 4. 2n square, that means according to that, in K cell 2n square, that is 2 into 1 square, that is 1. So 2 into 1, 2. So in K cell 2 number of electrons can be arranged. After that, L cell n is equal to 2. So 2 into 2 square, that is 2 into 4, 8. So in L cell 8 number of electrons can be fixed. Okay, not more than that, maybe less, it's okay, then maybe 8 or less than 8. Like that, in M cell 2 into n square, that is 2 into 3 square, 9. 3 square is 9 into 2, 18. In M cell 18 electrons can be arranged, not more than that, but less than is okay. Next, in N cell, that is 2n square, 4 square is 16. 16 plus 2, 32. 32 number of electrons can be arranged in N cell. Is it clear? So this is how the electrons can be arranged in different shell, and the rule is 2n square. Am I clear? Next we will go to question number 5. Question number 5 is about the compare all the proposed Bohr's model of an atom given in this chapter. Okay. So according to Thomson, Rutherford also will see sphere of the positive charge, Thomson. Then Rutherford, sphere of the positive charge in the center called nucleus. All the mass of an atom radiates in the nucleus. Bohr, positive charge in the center called nucleus. Next, electrons are spread randomly all over in the sphere. Rutherford, electrons revolve around the nucleus in well-defined orbits. Electrons revolve in discrete orbits and don't radiate energy. So you can see the contrast. Okay. Then according to Thomson model, this is the diagram. According to Rutherford model, this is the diagram, and Bohr's model, this one. Okay. Positively charged is equal to negatively charged according to Thomson. Size of the nucleus is very small as compared to the size of atom according to Rutherford. And the energy, the orbits were termed as K, L, M, N, or 1, 2, 3, 4. The different shells. Okay. And in Thomson model, atom is electrically neutral. So Thomson and Bohr, they both told that the atom is itself is actually neutral or stable. But according to Rutherford, it was not stable. Okay, that's why some limitations are there in Rutherford's. And according to Thomson, it is having a sphere, positive sphere. But actually, many scientists have proved also The protons are not distributed all over the atom. It is rather it is only located in the nucleus. Okay, like Bohr told. Okay, Bohr also told that it is having a positive center, that is called nucleus, because the protons are inside the nucleus, which gives on the nucleus in the as a positive charge. Okay, but the negative charges, they revolve around the nucleus in different orbits. Is it clear? So this is the comparison of all the three models. In this chapter we have learned, but many other scientists also, they have done the experiments on this. Is it clear? Next we'll discuss question number 6. Summarize the rules of writing distribution of electrons in various shells for the first 18 elements. Okay, so just now I was discussing about the different rules. The rules of writing of distribution of electrons in various shells of the first 18 elements are: first, the maximum number of electrons present in a shell is given by the formula 2n square, and where the n is equal to orbit number. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So maximum number of electrons in different shells are K cell, that is the first cell. Okay, so n is equal to 1. 2n square will be 2 into 1 plus 1 square, that is 2. L cell, that is number 2. Then 2n square is equal to 2 into 2 square, that is 2 into 4, that will be 8. M cell, that is third cell. 2n square will be 2 into 3 square, that 2 into 9, that is 18. Okay. Then L cell, that is n is equal to 4. 2n square, that will be 2 into 4 square. So 2 into 16, that will be 32. Okay. So this is about the maximum number of electrons in all the cell. Next, the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the outermost orbit is 8. Okay, when we are writing an electronic configuration, so the outermost orbit should contain maximum number of 8 electrons, and that is called as the octet rule. Okay, so all the atoms to be stable, to be not highly reactive, they want to have this octet rule. They want to obey this octet rule, in which the valence cell will contain 8 number of electrons. Okay, then electrons are not accommodated in a given shell unless the inner cells are filled. That means the shells or the electrons, the arrangement of the electrons in all the cells should be from inner to outside. First the K cell will be filled, then L cell, then M cell, then N cell. That means they will reach to the highest number. Suppose means 10. So that will be 2, 8. First K cell 2, after that 8 remains, that in the L cell. Is it clear? Next, come to question number 7. Define valency by taking examples of silicon and oxygen. So valency we will discuss. So valency, the first we will write the definition. It is the combining capacity of an atom. That is called valency. Atomic number of oxygen is equal to 8. Okay. And atomic number of silicon is 14. So now we will write the electronic configuration. Some book, it has written that EC, that means electronic configuration. So 8. So first K cell will be filled, that is 2. After that remains 6. So in L cell 6 can be put. So 2, 6. And if we will go to silicon, then in K cell first 2 will be filled, 14. Then next remaining is 12. So after that 12, 8 will be in the L cell, because highest number of electrons in L cell should be 8. After that the valence electron M will contain 4. So in the most of the oxygen, the valence electron are 6. That means the outermost cell, the valence electron which is present actually in the outermost shell, that is 6. So to fill the orbit, 2 electrons are required. So it is not that it will donate 6 electrons, rather it will accept 2 electrons. Okay. So in the atom of silicon, the valence electrons are 4. You can see 4. So to fill this orbit, 4 electrons are required. Either it can donate 4 electrons or accept 4 electrons. For silicon it is same. So hence the combining capacity of oxygen is 2. It will accept 2 electrons to be a stable form, octet form, and the silicon is 4. So the valency of oxygen is 2 and the valency of silicon is 4. So it is, oxygen is divalent or bivalent and silicon is tetravalent. Tetra means 4. Okay. Next come to question number 8. Explain with examples different topic has been given, you have to explain with examples. Atomic number, mass number, isotopes and isobars. This is one of actually short note we have to write, very small answers. Atomic number is of an element is equal to the number of protons in nucleus of its atom. Oxygen has 6 protons, hence the atomic number is 6. You can give any example. And I told you also why the atomic number is represented by the number of proton, because it remains constant. But the number of electrons are not same always, because when they are excited, some in combining capacity means when they make bond, they can gain or lose electrons. So the number of electrons may change. That's why the atomic number is about the number of protons. Okay. Next, mass number. The mass number of an atom is equal to the number of protons and neutrons in its nucleus. So it is also called as a nucleon. Number of protons plus number of neutrons. So example you can give like in the oxygen, that is proton plus neutron is equal to nucleus, which is the mass number 6 plus 6, that is 12. So as you can see this diagram, inside that P is equal to 6, P means proton, N means neutron, and in the outer cell, in the K cell, that is 2 electrons, L cell 4 electrons, 2, 4. In valence cell 4 electrons are present. So this is about the two concept, atomic number and mass number. Many short questions can arise from these students, atomic number and the mass number. Is it clear? Next we will discuss about the isotopes and isobar. Isotopes are the atoms of the same element which have different mass number but same atomic number. As you can see, this is the different isotopes of hydrogen. So first one is H11. The mass number is 1, atomic number is 1. In H, the deuterium, the mass number is 2 and the atomic number is same 1. In tritium, that is atomic number is 1 and the mass number is 3. That means only in the changes in the number of you can say, sorry, it is the atomic number is same, but only in the changes in the number of neutrons. Okay. Next, isobars. Isobars are atoms having the same mass number but different atomic numbers. So isobars also we can get it from the periodic table. It is having same atomic number, same mass number but atomic number is different. So 40, 40, the mass number is same, but you can see the atomic numbers are different, 20 and 18. Okay. Both calcium and argon have same mass number but different atomic number. And two uses of isotopes are, also the question is isotopes, the uses of isotope. Then you can also see your book. In your book it is given an isotope of iodine is used to treatment of the goiter, and isotope of uranium is used as a fuel in nuclear reactor. Okay. In nuclear power plant, actually the isotope of uranium, because it is highly reactive element, uranium, thorium, these two are having the, thorium is also having isotopes. So uranium, thorium, all these are having some radiations. Okay. And that's why they are used as a fuel in nuclear reactors. So maybe sometime question may arise that what are the elements which are used in nuclear power plants or nuclear reactors. Is it clear? So this is about the isotopes and isobars. Don't confuse in between this. Isotopes and isobars, try to remember with some examples so that you can write also the definition. No need to mug up. You just understand what it is saying. Okay. Next, question number 9. Na plus has completely filled K and L cell. Explain. So sodium, that is having 11, atomic number 11. Number of proton is 11. Number of electron also 11. So the electronic configuration is KLM, that is in K cell 2, L cell 8, M cell 1, 2, 8, 1. So sodium atom loses one electron to become stable and form Na plus. Hence it is completely filled with K and L cell. When it donates one electron, it is filled 2 and 8 and it becomes 10. Okay. Next, question number 10 onwards, I have done some mathematical questions are there. I will just discuss with you. Okay. Question is, if bromine atom is available in the form of say two isotopes, that is Br 7935 49.7% and Br 8135 50.3%. Calculate the average atomic mass of the bromine. So you can see also your book, students, page number 53. one example has been given of chlorine. Exactly, I have put the same formula for this isotope. So average atomic mass of the bromine 79 into 49.7 by 100 plus 81 into 50.3 by 100, and finally I got 80.006 unit. This is the average atomic mass of the bromine. Okay, next come to question number 11. The average atomic mass of sample of an element X is 16.2 unit. What are the percentage of the isotopes of X? 16.8 and 18.8. So the same formula I will put, students. 16 into x by 100 plus 18 into 100 minus x, because if one of the percentage of the two isotope, that is x, then other will be 100 minus x, because it is asking percentage. So I have done the same formula, because it is here the 16.2 it is given. Okay, the atomic mass is given, so you will get the answer. Then question number 12. If Z is equal to 3, what would be the valency of the element? Also name the element. If Z is 3, Z is equal to atomic number. So if atomic number is 3, that means it is proton is also 3, electron is also 3. And electronic configuration will be in K cell 2 and in L cell 1. So valence cell is the L and valence electron is 1. So the valency will be 1, because we know that the electrons present in the valence electron and the capacity to share electron, that is the valency, so 1. And the name of element is lithium, HELIBE. So HELI, Li means lithium. Okay, the atomic number is 3. So in this way you have to calculate, and you have to also write down all the electronic configuration. I told you also that you have to remember up to 30. First 30 elements you have to remember the atomic number. If you remember atomic number and the number of shells the electrons may arrange, then you can write the electronic configuration easily. No need to mug up the electronic configuration of all the elements. Am I clear, students? So try to remember all the atomic number up to 30. Okay, then only we can write. Sometime in MCQ also it will ask what is the configuration of this or that. So you have to name, or else opposite also. So this is the configuration, name the element. That type of question also you may get. Okay, so ready for that. Next, question number 13. Composition of the nuclei of two atomic species X and Y given as under. So it is given protein 6,6, neutron 6,8. So here you can see mass number of X, that is proton plus neutron, we know 6 plus 6, that will be 12. And mass of number Y, that is proton plus neutron, that will be 6 plus 8, 14. So as the atomic number, that is number of proton, because when we are taking atomic number, we are calculating the number of proton. It's same, that is 6, and mass number is different. They both are isotopes of an element. So this is a actual relationship between these two. They are isotopes. Okay, both are isotope of one element. Which element we don't know, but these are isotopes because the proton number is same. Is it clear? Atomic number is same, but the number of neutrons are different. The mass number is different. That's why they both are isotopes, because it is asking give the mass number of X and Y and what is the relationship between the two species. So the relationship is actually they both are isotopes of one element, same element. Okay, it is not asking about which element, only it is asking about the relationship. So here we will not write the element name, only we can write is that is the relation, that is their isotopes. And also you can write the definition of isotope. At bottom you can write the definition of isotopes. Okay, elements which are having same atomic number but having different mass number, they are called isotopes. Okay, different isotopes also we have discussed, like chlorine, uranium, hydrogen, then thorium. All these are elements, these are having some isotopes. Okay, and isotopes are not present for all the element, but some are having some isotopes. Is it clear? Next, question number 14. You have to write the true or false. So first, J.J. Thomson proposed that the nucleus of an atom contains only nucleons. That will be false. Okay. Then a neutron is formed by an electron and a proton combining together. Therefore, it is neutral. B is false. Okay. Neutron is not neutral due to this electron and proton. Okay. Next, the mass of the electron is about 1 by 2000 times that of proton. Yes, you can write. Actually, it is 1800. So, it is equal to, nearly equal to 2000. So, it will be true. Next, an isotope of iodine is used for making tincture iodine. which is used as a medicine. False. Okay, it is used for making the goiter disease, isn't it? Next, MCQ questions, question number 15, 16 and 17. So question number 15, Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment was responsible for the discovery of atomic nucleus, proton, electrons and neutrons. So the answer is atomic nucleus. Then 16, isotopes of an element have different number of neutrons. Answer is C. Okay. Next question, number of valence electron in Cl minus. So if it is Cl minus, that means it is having one more electron. So normal chlorine is 287. So Cl minus will be 288. So the valence electron will be B8. And the last question number 18. Which of the following is the correct electronic configuration of sodium? Sodium is having 11. So it will be 2, 8 and 1. The answer is D. And question number 19. You can also fill the table, okay, by seeing all the number of protons, electrons, etc. Thank you.